Magic Market Broadcast Briefing. Hi, I'm Earl the Pearl, and welcome to another edition of how we're going to become a professional broadcaster. We have gone through many videos at this point, some technical, some of them programming, some of them how to. Now we're going to talk about something that most programmers don't want to talk about. My first learning experience in radio was through programming. Programmers don't like sales. And that's what we're getting ready to talk about today, being a professional broadcaster in sales. So most programmers don't like sales that much. However, in the internet, it's a different animal. You have to do both. You have to be a programmer that does sales. Now, if you don't like sales and you're a programmer and you're from the old school, or you just don't like sales, period, you got a couple of choices. The first choice is you can hire somebody to do sales. But because sales is so valuable to the organization, it's probably best that you pay them more money than you would be making in the beginning. For sure, because selling is so important to the organization that if you don't have any sales, you don't have an organization. So sales is pertinent. Sales is important. So you can pay them if your ego can allow that. Can your ego stand the employee making more than the employer? Most of you probably can't do that. But if you can do that, that works fine. The other option is to learn how to sell a little bit, just a little bit at a time. You don't have to be an expert at it, but you do have to be very good, because in sales, there is no second place. There's only first place. And so once you learn how to do it, then you'll be fine. It's just simple as that. Now let's look at it like this. How long did it take for you to learn how to ride a bicycle? How long did it take for you to learn how to brush your teeth? How long did it take for you to learn how to walk when you were little? You probably don't remember, but you can ask your mom. Okay, that's how sales is. You just learn how to do it. And once you learn how to do it, it's not as bad as you think it is. It's relatively easy. And I'll touch on it a little bit. It's based on relationships. You got to have a relationship with someone that you're offering a product to. If you don't have a relationship, then it's unlikely that you guys can do any business. The first aspect is that people have to like you. If they don't like you, you can't offer a product to them, so they must like you. Second, after they like you, they must trust you, and you must listen to them. Listening builds trust. Make that a note. And I'd like to tell you how I got started selling. It began on the paper route. Most little boys and young men, or little young boys, have a paper route. And when you grew up in the inner city, maybe back in the day, there's no papers anymore. It's all internet now. But I had a paper route, and that's when my first experience was selling. And it wasn't a pleasant one. As a matter of fact, I didn't do well at all, and I failed at it. And so I went on and got into radio ultimately after various different jobs. And when I got into radio, I got into programming. And I told you earlier, that's how I determined that programming people don't like salespeople. Because on the air, we always had this back and forth with the sales department. And of course, they're kind of on opposite ends of the spectrum, but you begin to have a relationship with that department, because without that department, without the sales department, there is no radio station functioning, period. So that was my first taste of programming. When I first got into radio, I didn't have an experience in radio sales in the beginning. So after I got fired as a program director in Macon, Georgia, I was beating this guy on the basketball court, and I was talking a little trash while I was doing it. And he told me, he said, man, I was out of a job at the time. He said, man, you need to come over to Circuit City, man. He found out I wasn't working, and he offered me a job in sales. And so I couldn't be choosy at the time. So I took the job, and I learned how to sell at Circuit City. I don't know if you guys remember that electronic appliance store. Circuit City was my first sales job, and did pretty good at it ultimately, and transferred from Macon, Georgia to Atlanta. And there I got just a little bored with it. because of obvious reasons, a spiritual change, and wanted to get back in radio and left Circuit City. But that was my sales beginning. My biggest success in sales was with the non-emergency transportation company that I started. I had 8 employees. I had 3 vans, and I had to sell everybody that was in my company to actually work for me. That's a big sales job. And the biggest sales job a man has in his life is to find a good wife. And so that was my best sales job. I sidetracked there. To have a good wife in business is just everything for a man. And so had real good success there with the non-emergency transportation, grossed over 300,000 in 1 year before the rules were changed. So the non-emergency transportation was a real nice sales experience, and I was real good at that, and learned sales and went on into personal injury case management with 7 attorneys and was selling possible cases. And that was very successful too. I had a real nice time doing that. And I really learned a lot about sales during that time. But I wanted to fine tune my skills because I wanted to make more money than I was making. I was making a decent amount of money, but I had learned that salespeople who learn as they earn do better. And I started learning, searching for better techniques and strategies on how to sell better. How I equate sales and broadcasting together, they have to go together. It's just like learning history and law. If you learn history and law at the same time, then it all comes together in a very clear picture. Sales and programming and broadcasting go together like a beautiful day and a glass of lemonade. It just works perfect together. So you should learn how to do it well. When you learn how to do it well, it's not hard. It's relationship based. We will teach you here in the broadcast school. We will teach you how to sell. We'll teach you how to program. We'll teach you how to broadcast. Programming, broadcasting. We'll teach you news. We'll teach you all of these intricate things in the broadcast arena. I have done it all from sales, programming to engineering. And so that pretty much concludes how you deal with sales right on top of the surface. You just got to get good at it. And I'll be giving you information as well as tapes on our posts from mentors that I've used so that you can get better at it. And then when you do the one-on-one sales training with me, we will go over particular strategies on how you can sell your radio station, sell your podcast, sell your blog, and sell it on video, because you've got to be able to do that in today's world. You got to be able to photograph yourself. You got to be able to video yourself. Have some fun. Have some fun with a smile. That's what you have to do. That's what time it is right now. Just have fun with it and stick with it. Earl the Pearl on the Magic Market Broadcast Briefing. That is our briefing on Sales 101. We will get to Sales 102 at a later video. Thank you for looking. I hope that you find these videos useful in your broadcast search, in your broadcast career. We'll be interacting on social media. We'll be doing it all together so that you can become the best broadcaster that you can be. We'll see you next week, and we will do a part 2 on broadcasting and sales. It's coming up. So stay close. Majic108fm.com. Listen to me on the radio. I'll see you there. Earl the Pearl. See you next time.